What is up? Welcome to issue 109. It's Nerdflow Podcast. Back again for another week of nerd stuff, pop culture, video games, anime, pro wrestling, comic book stuff, you name it. We talk about it on this show. What is up, people?
What up with it, man?
It's all good.
What up, everybody?
Angry is back.
Welcome back.
Appreciate it. Work situation got sorted out.
Oh yeah, man, it's a lot of work situations going on with this with our crew. So shoot, with my lateral move I did, I will actually probably have more time to do more shows because my schedule will be like 7 to 3. So I'm be getting off, not working 10-hour shifts no more. So
that's what's up.
So yeah, man. How is everyone? How's everybody's week been?
It could be better.
I just feel say everybody's solid. I guess that means everybody fucked up.
I know, right? It's like, oh, it's like that this week. Okay. Let's talk about it.
Now that I think about it, I actually had a fun weekend.
One of us did.
I have a feeling that Briario involves edibles, but that's just my.
Let me tell y'all.
Not this time.
Let me tell y'all how my weekend got messed up. So
you dating a girl with a stalker? That's what happened.
So I had this chick coming into town from Dallas, right? And you know what I'm saying, she wanted to see me. She wanted me to come to her hotel room, things like that. You know, I ain't gotta say too much. Y'all can infer what y'all want to, but. So
grown folk stuff.
Yeah. So because of the situation with my grandma, nobody would come over here and sit with her and let me get out for a minute. So therefore, I missed out on it. So yeah, my weekend was shitty.
Yeah, I'm from a single life. When you get one of those, and then when the opportunities come up, and you have to some other responsibilities, and nobody will tag out for you, it's just, yeah, that does suck.
So I was just like, all right, fuck it.
All right, man. Like I said, issue 109 of Nerdflow. We got Facebook, we got Twitter, we got Instagram. You can search Nerdflow or Nerdflow Podcast is the best way to find the show. If you're feeling what we're talking about, the vibe that we giving, go ahead and follow, like, on those platforms that you mess with. We also got a YouTube channel as well, starting to put some new fresh stuff up there at the same time, so please make sure you go subscribe to the channel as well. Then we got the great Facebook community on Facebook as well. It's a private group, so you gotta be accepted in. We ain't want no people with no spam or only one picture or only one friend, because we know you spam, so don't do that. But yeah, so join the Facebook community. Nerdflow Podcast community is what it's called. And we also got teespring.com/stores/Nerdflow, which is the t-shirt shop. Get yourself an official t-shirt, Nerdflow Podcast. You can get the throwback t-shirt from the original Nerdflow logo, or you can get the new one with the new logo. So your choice. All right, man. So, then we got the main topic. We got the quick stuff that we normally go into, so we're gonna bounce back and forth in between these things. So let's start off first with let's talk about Destiny 2. They did an interview recently with Polygon, and they were kind of talking more about new DLC that's dropping, or expansion dropping this September, which is called Shadowkeep. And they went a little bit more in detail because when they got released, I would say got their papers and got released. Got released from Activision during their feature of Bungie Vidoc. They were talking about doubling down, embracing the RPG and embracing MMO. So they kind of gave a little bit more insight into kind of how that's going to partially work with Armor 2.0. So this is going to be just quoted from this Polygon article. So according to Bungie, armor will be rolled with different stats of not just resilience, mobility, and recovery stats, but also intellect, discipline, and strength, which came from the first game. So for those who didn't play Destiny 1, intellect, discipline, and strength had to do with cooldowns on your super, your melee, and your grenades. So you also have those on top of the resilience and mobility and recovery. And so that worked the same way they did in Destiny 1. In addition to that, it also stated that intellect, discipline, and strength will work on the same way Destiny 1, increasing the recharge rate of players' super grenades and melee abilities respectively. The developers also revealed that resilience, mobility, and recovery will have a wider range of effect with the new system, but they weren't ready to go into full detail on this exact what this means. Also, they were also stating that players will be able to essentially pick the perks of the armor to fit the playstyle by slotting different mods into the armor, similar to how players are currently doing. Bungie says they're adding more mods into the game with Armor 2.0, giving players more customization options. The mods will be found by playing the game. Clear ways for players to chase down the mods. Then Luke Smith also mentioned that Armor 2.0 will have an energy system. And so the key to making that more powerful, so you power up the armor to increase the capacity, which lets you equip more mods. So for those who play Destiny 1, right now we only have one mod slot per armor piece. You'll be able to level up the armor within the game to have more slots to add more mods to it to make it more RPG. So sounds pretty cool. Any thoughts on that? I know Angry and Young haven't been on D2 in quite some time, but you guys kind of know how it plays and all that good stuff. How y'all feel about that?
I mean, any add-on that's gonna help with the grind on any game is gonna be good. Just long as it's a balanced system, that's all. I got to hop back on, but as long as it's a balanced system, I'm down for it. And if it gets you to play the game and try to get the best armor, try to get the best mods, then I'm all for it.
Because the one thing I hated was going to the gunsmith and trading in all your stuff, trying to get certain mods and stuff, and then.
So here's since you haven't played any of since this previous expansion, so there are two, at least currently right now, there are two components that with the weapon parts that you're referring to, Young. So now the gunsmith has bounties now that you can complete, and you can get more of like the enhancement cores. You can get weapon mod. It rewards you with those additional pieces best by doing stuff in the world. So Gunsmith now has weapon parts. There's also a EXO called 801 that's on the annex side of the tower now that actually you can trade in. I think it's like Glimmer and another piece of material to actually get weapon mods if you just need more of them. It's a trade economy that they got going on currently right now. So you won't really have to worry about that like you did before prior to the annual pass stuff coming out.
It's just like that was the one thing about that game that was bothering me. It was just like, trying to when you need something, you don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm trying to get a different mod or something like that, I couldn't get it when I needed it. So
yeah, that's that's RNG.
That was just like going to the spider to get stuff, and then the spider instead of sitting just giving you the same old shit.
I mean, it's annoying, but that's a part of the grind. That's the part of the game I like.
Yeah, a lot of times you never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes you'll get like a gun that doesn't have a really good roll on it, but some guns come with mods on it that you've been looking for. So you end up dismantling and getting that and just keeping that mod that's on the gun, even though you didn't like the roll on it. I know y'all didn't get into Season of Opulence, but like Season of Opulence had a cheese in the new horde mode called Menagerie. And so you could basically, I don't know, were y'all around when they had like the when they were doing December, when it was like basically you could the whole oven thing where you bake cookies and bake all this different stuff to go around the people in the tower. Y'all went there for that? Okay. So that system got moved. That system got moved into Season of Opulence. So it had basically you had like Leviathan, Callus has a chalice. And so you could basically you would basically get rewarded by playing the game by putting in I forgot what they're called. I can't even think what the hell they're called.
Hold up, before you finish. The fuck they making cookies for?
It was a holiday event, and so you could basically there were different recipes and different materials that you could put in to get.
I ain't want to bake no cookies that my Titan could walk down in the wherever the central hub is. I forgot what it's called. I ain't play games so long. I didn't say what the cookies and shit. I don't want to play it.
Hell no. But yeah, so they basically took that same system from the Christmas event and basically turned that into a system where you could basically put in different color mods to actually get the exact gun that you wanted and the exact role that you would or exact masterwork you were looking for, and you could basically farm it pretty much and get, you know, if you're just trying to get like a good roll on a particular gun that they had that was part of it, you could get, you know, same thing with like armor. So there were recipes basically you could do to get the gun you wanted. If you're looking for a good roll on, you're looking for a sniper, you're looking for whatever. So,
man, my short-term memory so bogus. I can't even remember what it was called. When we was steady running back on Earth, when we was on Earth, and we was steady going in and out that door cave.
Oh, you talking about the faction rally stuff? The faction rally, faction rally's been gone for a minute. They took that out. Yeah, they took that. They took faction rallies out because they're fixing that. Yeah, so it's a lot more different modes. You got so I know y'all ain't been in since Forsaken. I mean, you got the weapon forges now. You got Gambit Prime, and then you also got Menagerie.
Forsaken was just such a disappointment.
What?
I'm just saying, Forsaken was just a disappointment. Well, what was that?
I like Forsaken was not a disappointment, bro. That was you talking about Osiris.
Osiris, yeah.
Yeah,
see, it's just been so long.
But yeah, so that's gonna be the new thing that's coming up in September with Destiny. Of course, more details forthcoming. Oh yeah, for all of those who are in the game as well, there's some other stuff that these guys probably need to know because they haven't been on Destiny 2 for a long time. If you have any Eververse stuff, is your best interest to dismantle all your Eververse gear that came from Eververse and get all the bright dust you can, because when that breaks down in Shadowkeep, the currency you'll get will change, because all the armor that you got from Eververse will be what they call, for those who are familiar with transmog, in a sense, is basically what it is. So you can basically take the armor sets that come from Eververse that either drop from you or that you bought, and so you can basically, if you have a set of armor that you just like the stats on it, you can actually take those gear sets from Eververse you got from previous seasons, and they will be ornaments for every piece of gear you pick up in the game. So you can look the way you want to and then also still have good stats. So that'll be another thing that'll be coming. So all right.
Hawaiian Punch got a new flavor coming out.
What the fuck?
It's all about fruit punch, bro. I'm not getting about nothing else.
New flavor coming out called Fruit Juicy Red.
That's just another way to say fruit punch. That's another way to say fruit punch. So that's another way to say fruit punch, bro. All right, man. And then we also got, as far as because there's not a lot of topics on gaming, so I'm gonna cut to this one real quick. So we got this week. I think it was this past Wednesday. Yeah, I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday. EA Access. No, it was Wednesday. EA Access finally hit PS4 after being on Xbox One for 5 years exclusively. So for those who are fans of games like Madden, FIFA, any other like the well-known EA franchise titles, you can basically pay $6 a month and have access to a good large library of through EA. I'll just go give a rundown, a list of the games that are part of EA Access.
So can I play some games for free? But
yeah, you can play a good lot of games for free. So, for example, Madden 20 comes out. So if you're a paying member of EA Access, you get 10 hours early access, early trial to play the game for 10 hours. And then you also get discounts on those games. So if you were to say, okay, I like Madden 20, you can, when you buy it, you'll get 10% off the game as well. So
I just started playing Madden 19.
Well, actually, on there, Madden 19 is free. So, but yeah, Madden 20 is early trial, Anthem's early trial, A Way Out, The Sims 4, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 5, Burnout Paradise Remastered, Dragon Age Inquisition, FIFA 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, Madden 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 25, Mass Effect Andromeda, Mirror's Edge, Catalyst, NBA Live 15, 16, 18, and 19, Need for Speed Rivals, Need for Speed Payback, NHL 16, 17, 18, 19, Plants vs. Zombies, both sequels. You also got the Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, Titanfall 2, UFC 1, 2, and 3, and Unravel 1 and 2 are the games that are available through EA Access for free once you pay. And that's correction, it's $4.99 on myself. They're basically $5.
I don't know, but one person on Earth that's still playing anything like Need for Speed.
Who that?
My other cousin Terry. He's about the only person on Earth that's still playing Need for Speed.
We need to reemerge the Midnight Club. That's what we need right now.
Man, hell no, I don't play no games like that.
People love Midnight Club.
If it ain't Mario Kart,
we talking about like real vehicles, bro. We ain't talking about go karts.
man, look. If I can't blue shell a nigga on Need for Speed or Midnight Club.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, bro. So
I bet you Mario Kart to get a room way more hyper than any of them games.
I don't doubt it, but I mean, there's a lot of people that still when they're looking at like when they don't want like a driving sim like a GT like a Gran Turismo or a Forza, like the next thing is most people like nostalgia go back to is Midnight Club, bro. It's just because of customization.
Break out the 64 with all 4 joysticks.
And Mario Kart is it's a party game. That's what it's considered. And speaking of Mario Kart is coming to mobile too. Speaking of, none that I was thinking about that.
I already got it mobile. I got it on my Switch. I just wish more people around me had it. Get 5 these joysticks up and get on down.
But yeah, man. So what else we got here? Let's talk about Brario. What's about this? With Joe wanting to be interested in being Kraven the Hunter?
Well, as you know,
AKA used to be Deathstroke.
Right. As you know, he no longer has the position. Apparently, we don't know whether or not it worked out for him being Deathstroke for DC, but
release the Snyder Cut. Anyway,
basically, yes. So he's kind of showing a lot of interest, and he expressed like a great interest to playing Kraven, and he believes that the comic book with Kraven's The Last Hunt should be adapting to like the big screen and be featured in other Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, the whole thing about that, man, is just because with Sony owning all these different properties, it's really like it's a toss up in the air a lot of times with a lot of these properties that they have control of.
One of my favorite arcs in Spider-Man the animated series was Kraven, because Kraven being pretty much just human, they're just taking the Captain America animal version of the serum. Well, really, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like the serum is more like the Black Panther serum that Kraven was taking, but I also made Kraven black and saying he was from Wakanda.
Yeah, that's another arc they've been kind of talking about. That's on our news bit on YouTube that we have up. If anybody else want to hear more details about that, but yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with either one of them, honestly. I mean,
me either.
It would be very interesting to do the Wakanda one, but I don't have a problem with Joe being Kraven either. Though I think he's a good. I never thought about him as being Kraven. He would be a good fit if he really wants to be it.
Well, like I said, he's expressed like how he feels about it, and I'm all for it myself.
So, question: is it okay that we talk about?
You cut out what you say. You say is it okay that you and then you just kind of like dip?
That it's okay if we talk about Far From Home. We still discussed it.
I mean, go ahead. I mean, I'm still gonna go see it at some point.
I gotta give props to the Angry B guy. Angry B guy, when we first sat down, he noticed something that I didn't notice, that he peeped out that rolled over from Captain Marvel. When, you know what I'm saying, you know, Captain, well, I'll let him explain it.
All right. So, everybody's seen Captain Marvel, right?
Right.
Remember the whole everybody calls me Fury?
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? Amanda. If y'all watch Far From Home, she called him Nick. And it come to find out they were both Skrulls. And it just threw me off. And actually, me watching Infinity War the other day, she called him Nick at the end of Infinity War too. So I'm wondering how long has Nick Fury been off Earth?
Well, they kind of mentioned already that he wasn't a Skrull at the end of Tony's funeral. But are you talking about?
I'm pretty sure at the end of the funeral, like that'd be disrespectful to Tony to not show up for the funeral. But there's nothing saying that he couldn't have left, you know, sword, because that's what they was hitting at the end of Spider-Man. For him to leave, go to the funeral, and go back. But if you watch at the end of Infinity War, she definitely called him Nick. And just that whole conversation in Captain Marvel when he was like, nobody calls me Nick, everybody calls me Fury. I'm wondering how long in the MCU has Nick Fury been a Skrull.
And then, if you pay attention to the other bonus scene when Fury, the real Nick Fury, and you look in the background, it gave us a hint into what's coming next.
Yeah, Shield. I mean, Sword.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
when did you? My question for Angry Big Guy: when did you first notice it? Was it in like the interrogation room when they was first meeting?
The first time she called him Nick at the beginning, like when they fought the sand dude, she was like Nick. I looked over at Young and was like, "Why she just call him Nick?" It threw me off.
Beginning of the movie.
Yeah, when the first time she called him Nick.
Right.
Well, South America. When it was in South America. Well, I don't know if there was a miss. They wasn't in America. They was in a desert on this side of the continent below the United States.
That she called them Nick at the beginning of the very beginning of, and I think I had just watched Captain Marvel like a couple days before, so that whole nobody calls me Nick conversation was fresh on my mind. So when she called them Nick, I was just like, she just gonna disrespect my guy like that?
Mm-hmm.
So, and like the way Far From Home ended with, you know what I'm saying, Mysterio doing what he doing, you know, did what he did, you know, doctored the film and all that right there, and telling who he was. I think that's them really trying to get into the Sinister Six. But see, the thing is, with the Sinister Six, that means they got to redo Dr. Octopus. And I wonder if they're going to go with the female Dr. Octopus from
Into the Spider-Verse.
and then try to bring in since it's the Sinister Six and he's so fresh, he's so new to being Spider-Man still, are they gonna try to bring in the other Spider-Man from the other universes?
So, but they already did that movie. It'll just be into the Spider-Verse 2 if they did it that way.
Didn't we do a count? I believe we were doing a countdown and counting down all the villains that we've seen so far that could possibly create the Sinister Six.
They've already introduced
Vulture, Mysterio,
Yeah, Vulture,
Tinkerer,
Scorpion, Shocker.
Prowler, Shocker. And you know they're going to have to, I know Young ain't a fan of it, they're going to have to either introduce the Green Goblin or Doc Ock in the next film.
What's so bad about seeing
He
Green Goblin?
just wants somebody different.
I'm really tired of it. I'm sorry. Even though Hobgoblin, let's just put it this way. The reason Hobgoblin came into the fold was because when they started doing Spider-Man, the animated series, the producer did not like the Green Goblin. So he created the Hobgoblin in the animated series, and the Hobgoblin was so popular, he made his way into the comic books, kind of like Harley Quinn. You know what I'm saying? You know, Harley Quinn wasn't in the comic books at first. She was just
the 1990s, early 1990s,
because she was just created for the Batman the animated series. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? He was so popular that he ended up being in the comic books, and I feel like the Hobgoblin is because he like Norman was psychotic, but the Hobgoblin is like schizophrenic. And you know, and he just looked cooler to me with stuff.
I also kind of feel that he kind of like outshined Norman.
Yeah, he outshined Norman.
To me, he did in the animation.
And his gadgets were cooler too, cause he got the pumpkins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, have you noticed? Like, he's my favorite villain to see when you get on the Spider-Man ride at Universal Studios.
Never been there.
Huh?
I've never been to Universal Studios.
Oh, my bad, guys. Well, if you guys get on it, he's actually on the ride. He's throwing the pumpkins at you, the ones that explode. It's one of my favorite parts of the ride.
And then his glider looked cooler. Like, that'll be perfect. Set the next Spider-Man movie around Halloween.
Yeah.
Would be cool.
But wouldn't you have to introduce... You would somehow have to introduce Norman into the picture because...
Hobgoblin is a copycat.
Well, yeah, Hobgoblin is a cat, but let's just say, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that they rearrange something. Instead of Norman taking the super serum that he created and making himself into the Hobgoblin, I mean, the Green Goblin, let's just say somebody else went in and, you know, he was a test subject. And that was already crazy. It just, the serum just made him even more crazier.
Right.
Anything, you know. Look at the way they did Electro and the Amazing Spider-Man.
Let's not talk about that.
I'm just saying.
Really?
He who shall not be named.
It could have been. It could have been a lot worse than that, but yeah.
It could not have been worse.
Yeah, he could have had that lightning bolt on his goddamn face. That big ass yellow lightning bolt.
I mean,
with the mask on.
Not Jamie Foxx's best performance.
Yeah, true. But all right. J.J. Abrams is to take on DC's Superman and Green Lantern.
Yes.
I mean, JJ always does good. JJ always does good shit.
Best Star Trek movies.
Even Henry Cavill even mentioned, like, he said he's not done being Superman, so he's just, you know, he's in a sense on a hiatus from
Dude look cool Brothers. As the Witcher. I gotta give him that.
Yeah,
I would have took a break from DC to do that too.
Yeah, so
I can't wait for that to come out.
So yeah, he's doing that, but yeah, he's still Superman. So I mean, if J.J. Abrams was to take the reins and do another, whatever they want to call it, Man of Steel, Superman 2, 3, whatever it's gonna be called, Man of Steel 2, we'll be mad with that.
Whatever it is, let them do it. DC,
like that's another thing with Superman movies too. I'm tired of Lex Luthor. Superman did have other villains.
I understand you tired of...
I mean, he got Brainiac. Like, Brainiac could be a cool villain.
It'd be a cool villain. I mean, it's either with Superman, it's either fighting...
establish Lex Luthor. I'm sorry, it's certain...
I know you got to establish Lex. Okay, if you gonna pull Lex back, do when Lex and Brainiac combine together then.
But that's too fast in one movie. Like, first he Lex, now he Brainiac Lex. Like, you gotta establish it.
I mean, didn't they establish him in Man of Steel?
Sorta, but not really. I mean,
they got the boy that played.
I know.
Social Network to play Lex Luthor and Batman vs Superman. Well, speaking of
we don't. I mean, with how a lot of that, because that was kind of like that DCEU, what they were trying to. Because I mean, let's be honest, based off the the stuff that we've heard from the Snyder Cut and all that good stuff, the version that that Warner Brothers, I'm gonna say Warner Brothers on this one, what they were trying to build with it versus what Zack Snyder's idea was, because they went from. Zack Snyder's version went from Darkseid showing up in his version and the first Justice League movie to them trying to do the Legion of Doom pretty much. And since that version of what they've done in Justice League is not going to happen, shoot, he may not even be Lex Luthor no more, honestly. I mean, especially if Joe, we just got to be talking about him wanting to be Kraven, that may be scrapped altogether. They may just do go a whole different route. We may not even see a Lex Luthor, honestly. It may be just end up being somebody from Krypton, like Lobo or some shit like that. Or
I would love for them to do Lobo.
Man, Lobo, because I like the way he look at the Krypton show.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, they do a good job with
it. I feel like, and then I was like, yo, when I first seen them, I was like, they got Lobo so right.
Lobo versus Deadpool.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we got that, and then we got Green Lantern is another one. I mean, a lot of with Green Lantern, like a lot of stuff as far as from a space standpoint is gonna have to be established in the DC world, because they just haven't went into dealt with space yet. Everything has been on Earth, so this would definitely kind of put them into that spectrum where they would have to literally bring in like stuff like a Martian Manhunter, all this type of stuff would have to be, I feel like we have to be kind of like at some point. But I guess Green Lantern would kind of be that pivot point where they would, start doing that type of stuff.
I like Martian Manhunter. I like the way. And Supergirl, I would like to see him on the big screen too.
Yeah, no, I do too.
I got another
what's up?
casting rumor that keeps circling around. Remember how last week we were talking about Terry playing the Wolverine?
Oh yeah. I've been hearing about that.
Well, I know he's talked about it last week, but they keep bringing it up. And I also found this picture of him in...
Is the one with Hugh Jackman with him holding the Wolverine cowl and him having on a shirt with claws on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that photoshopped or is that real?
It might be photoshopped. Yeah, I think it might be.
Because that was a really good picture, and to see him like...
Because it's that same color cowl that's like on... If you like kind of look up Wolverine, it's that same color cowl that you see like just the head part of that's around on Instagram and stuff like that. Somebody probably just took that, shrunk it down, spun it, and just put it and posed it on his hand.
I often like... I just really just thought that we was gonna get to see the Wolverine in the actual suit, like
No,
either
me
the red
too,
and
man. Me
either
too,
the
man.
maroon and yellow suit or the blue and yellow suit. Because you know the X-Men in the 70s had the maroon and yellow
Either
suits.
or, we wanted to see it.
But then Fox decided to go ultimate on the suits because the suits that they wore in the first X-Men movie are the ultimate. When Marvel did the Ultimate series, that's the ultimate X-Men suits that they had, the black ones. So
Yeah.
Fox decided to go ultimate versus going like the traditional.
I just really thought we was gonna end up getting there before.
I like the fact we didn't, because I know it's weird because it's just a name, but they were leaning more towards Logan than Wolverine. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's what everybody pretty much called him, and I know they called him in the cartoon some, but I feel like he was more Logan and more of a solo act. Even in the movies, the X-Men movies, he was more of a solo act. And costumes gotta have, especially in movies, they have to make sense. And for him to just wear yellow because that's what he wore in the comic book wouldn't have made sense. Like, if you look at Captain America's suit, the first suit in the first movie didn't make sense. But in the second movie, it looked more tactical.
Yeah.
You didn't have Scarlet Witch wearing that ridiculous ass red costume with the fucking rabbit ears
with the crown on it. Yeah, no, they just
Actually, I was watching this documentary when it was talking about making the Avengers movie, and they said they wanted her to wear that thing, but she was like the one that they made, like they wanted her to wear the original Scarlet Witch outfit, but because it just wouldn't fit in with the rest of the.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that was like her first costume that she had even tried on was like all that, and she was just like, "This would be." And she suggested it. She was like, "This is something that she probably would wear later on down the road, not when she just joined the event."
Yeah, she'll probably wear it in the Doctor Strange, the new Doctor Strange movie. I feel like that'll probably end up being it. It may be an alternate version because so with Thor, same thing. Thor never wore the helmet. He wore the helmet in Ragnarok just as an Easter egg tribute to the helmet. Because he never wore that doggone helmet with the wings on it.
Yeah.
He wore it probably maybe once in the first movie just because, you know, it's the first Thor movie, and then they went back to it again when he did the Coliseum fight with Hulk. So I mean, that was the only time they really referenced to it. But I feel I feel like they'll do an Easter egg to it though.
Like, costumes have to make sense. It ain't a cartoon.
I think the only the only three people that legitimately had their costumes on was Iron Man, Hawkeye, and
no, Hawkeye didn't have his on either. No, not Hawkeye. We know that purple suit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Well, he ain't had a purple suit on.
Yeah, he ain't had that mask on. Only time he wore a full suit of anything when he was Ronin. Yeah. Shoot, that was the only time. Shoot, no, they ain't put him in the purple suit. But that would have been that suit would have been just out there. It's been like, nah, bro,
ridiculous.
You need to, that look ridiculous.
Jeremy Renner probably was like, I'm not wearing it.
Exactly. Shoot, imagine Luke Cage running around in the freaking Luke Cage, bro.
Whose man is this?
Shoot, man. Then we got exactly, man. It's like looking like a freaking slave.
Half turkey.
Man. Then we got we also got Doctor Strange villain has been leaked as well. Supposed to be Nightmare. Is going to be the villain for the new Doctor Strange movie. I mean, Doctor Strange, I don't think anybody's really nitpicky on, like, you know, we got Dormammu the first time. I'm pretty sure we'll get Dormammu again at some point in a full form on Earth at some point too down the road. Not too mad at, you know, whoever they pick for Doctor Strange, because We just want to see Doctor Strange freaking just do his thing and just fuck up shit with magic. Honestly, at least that's how I feel.
Like real talk. If you thought the first Doctor Strange movie was an acid trip, I think this second one gonna be even more of an acid trip. They talk about multi-dimensions too.
Oh yeah, bro. Multiverse. They finna mess some stuff up. It's finna be all crazy in that movie. I can't wait. I can't wait till, because he has, with the Infinity War and Endgame stuff, he's at a whole higher caliber of a fighter with the magic now versus what he was only doing like the same move in the first movie. So I can't wait to Doctor Strange 2, because
they're gonna have to give my boy some new hand movements.
Oh yeah, he gonna definitely have some new hand movements, bro. I just know it.
Him pop locking.
Hell yeah, I can't wait.
He be throwing my boy gonna have to start looking like he played Naruto.
So with them introducing Nightmare, do you think they can introduce the Ghost Rider?
Well, Ghost Rider's gonna get its own show on Hulu, because they're taking the current Ghost Rider that's in the comics, which has the car, and they're using. You haven't watched that intro. You haven't seen them, so I know it's not.
To me, it's all about the motorcycle Ghost Rider.
But just that's the thing, though, Young. That if you watch the show, what happened was the original Ghost Rider gave him his powers. He gave it to him because he was caught in a shootout on a bridge, and he said, because he was basically, his brothers keep his brother, and he said, I'll do anything to avenge them. And like, he's on a bridge about to freaking die, and then all you see is the fire motorcycle drive up. Ghost Rider literally touches him and gives him those powers, and that's how he becomes Ghost Rider. So I mean, trust me, man. If you just, even if you don't watch the full Agent, just go look for season 4 and watch season 4, and you will see what I mean.
I did see like a scene. I was kind of impressed.
Yes, he is like, he was if it wasn't for him in that season, boy, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they would have been up creek without him. I'll put it that way. So, and then with everything with Marvel Studios, everything tying together, who knows, man, that he may end up being, he may show up in the movies, or if we get whatever is going to be the big movie for all of them to show up in together, all these shows are going to start to tie in together more than they did before. So it's just, some characters, don't need a movie. Some characters just need a TV show to kind of flesh out more about them and stuff like that. So, then we had Baron Zemo leak footage from him wearing the mask, which I was super happy about, because when I realized who he was in the movie, when I realized, I was like, bro, they ain't even give him the mask. He just a dude that's smart, that was manipulating shit. That's what I felt like at the time. But I'm actually glad he's actually done in the actual purple mask and all that stuff, and he's gonna be part of the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show on Disney Plus. So
that man gonna come and F stuff up and leave.
yeah.
Basically.
And then we got some other stuff with Florence Pugh. She's casted as a character in the new Black Widow movie. I think I mentioned this on last week with the Hall H stuff. So she's supposed to be, she's the other version of Black Widow. So I kind of feel for those MCU Endgame, but to be the new replacement end up being the new Black Widow, because there are two Black Widows in Marvel comics, and the character she's playing in Black Widow is the other one. So we'll see what happens on that part. But then we got Marvel's What If, like spoilers. I think the first thing came out about that was the whole Marvel Zombies thing, actually.
Not exactly.
Well, that's one of the first things people thought of, honestly. Like, cause how they described it. how they describe the show. I think the first thing came to some people mind. I had a lot of people that said they were talking about when they said what it was like. Wait, man, what did they do? I've had a lot of people say Marvel Zombies.
Well, it's going around that the episode ideas have been leaked, and I just so happened to get the information.
Okay, what you got?
I don't know if I can say much, but the stuff that people have heard already, like what you've heard about Peggy Carter.
I would say Peggy Hill.
Bobby.
Boomhouse finna be in Marvel.
I got my Peggy's mixed up.
Damn it, Bobby.
Hank go big. Hank, oh shit.
But what's been leaked?
We say spoiler alert with what's on this list.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if it's gonna be concrete or not anyway.
Okay, so spoiler alert for those who are listening. So it's saying like, what if Peggy was chosen to be the super soldier instead of Steve?
Okay.
What if the rat never touched the van and freed Ant-Man?
Okay.
That's kind of a messed up scenario.
Oh boy, Endgame would have been a whole different story. Okay.
Okay, this list is okay. They playing with my emotions. They're saying, what if the Netflix characters actually showed up at the end of Endgame?
I would have lost my mind to move there. That's what would have happened.
Man,
instead of some damn Howard the Duck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Howard the Duck.
Bro.
Nobody give a fuck about no quack food.
Having Luke Cage come through that portal with the Defenders just coming through there. Oh man. Oh damn. Boy. Man.
Could you imagine the Spider-Man, Daredevil fighting together?
Shh, man.
Deadpool had it came through the portal.
I would have just died laughing, honestly.
Okay, y'all, I gotta say something too. Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, Detective Pikachu is not a bad movie at all.
I could have told you that.
Did y'all watch that Blade little short thing that I put in there from YouTube? I put in the chat about I guess it kind of more deals with why Wesley Snipes went recasted his Blade.
Cause he old as shit.
No, he was on the first three movies on the Blade set. He was a freaking diva. He would not come out of his trailer. He wanted people on set to only call him Blade. He would not respond to people and stuff. It was a lot of stuff.
Man, oh yeah, I watched it too, man. I was like, so that's what's going on. I was like, this is interesting. That's
probably why they didn't rehire him.
But y'all know he had put a lot of his own money into the Blade movie too.
Yeah, well, yeah, he did, because that's when this is at the same time when he was trying to pitch him being Black Panther and doing a Black Panther movie, and so they were just like, the same studio was just like, hey, we doing this thing, this Blade movie with this character, and that's how he got Blade. So actually, and also for those who don't know, that's how we got our first look at Deadpool, which with Ryan Reynolds playing Hannibal King, because the director actually gave him a bunch of Deadpool comics to kind of pull his Hannibal King character, personality of his Hannibal King character off of Deadpool comics. So that's
actually, it just feel like it. It feel like that's just Ryan Reynolds' personality, period, though.
It's close to his normal personality, his character as a person anyway, yeah. It
just feel like that's just him, period.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. Let's see. Okay, so speaking of... What's up?
Oh, I guess I had some more on the list. Go ahead.
What else you got? I thought you were done.
No, it's a lot of them. A lot of them I don't want to read because they don't make sense to me.
Well, it's what if. So I mean, of course, a lot of them they're gonna be like some.
Okay, I'm just gonna read through all of them.
Okay.
What if Korg was made of scissors? What if Doctor Strange hit the time stone up his ass?
Okay, this is gonna be just weird, really weird. Okay.
What if Nick Fury wanted to wink? This better not be real. Okay, what if Yondu actually ate Quill?
Yeah, somebody trolling on that one on the list on like that list from last one that they trolling after the stone of the butthole was my last straw. I'm just saying.
What if Howard Stark ended up naming his son Almanzo? Where are they going with this?
I don't know.
What if Groot forgot his name? What if Ned was actually watching porn? What if Thor: The Dark World was actually a good movie?
Oh God. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna leave the rest of those alone. So okay, last topic of the night. So I've been getting into I want to kind of like more kind of spotlight more like actual like comic books and stuff, like so stuff that's currently going on in comic books right now. I have a recommendation for people who may want to get into comics or do it, because I do it right now. I do it digitally, which is just a whole lot easier than me trying to go to a comic book shop. But there's a new series that's been out for a while. They're only on issue 3 right now. It's going to be a 6 issue series. It's called DCeased, which is like with DCeased. And so just to kind of give you guys a short little premise of what is going on. So spoiler, if you don't want to hear spoilers and you want to try to go out and read, or you've been interested to kind of go read it, you probably want to cut it off right now. So
remind us again, where you're getting this from?
Oh, it's a comic that's out right now called DCeased. What
are you reading it on?
Right now I'm reading it off Comixology, is where I'm reading the comic from.
Okay.
But I'm not like reading it verbatim. I'm just kind of like giving y'all a general synopsis about it. That way you kind of know what you're going in there reading. So basically DCeased is kind of like in the first issue, it starts out with Justice League fighting Darkseid, and Darkseid is trying to get his hand on the Mother Box again to get the anti-life equation. But he escapes through a portal and also escapes with Cyborg to Apocalypse, which is his home planet. So they try to extract the Mother Box out of Cyborg, and crap just goes completely wrong. And what ends up happening is Darkseid ends up freaking literally scratching his face off with his hands, and he leaves out, and he freaking basically ends up blowing up his planet Apocalypse. Fast forward, Cyborg is portaled back to Earth, and basically what happened was when they were trying to use the Mother Box against Cyborg, they created a technology virus that if you looked at any screen, social media, anything, you immediately, the same thing that happened to Darkseid, you would basically rip your face, basically tear your face apart and basically turn into a zombie. And there's some crazy parts in there. I'll just throw it in there that Robin and Nightwing become zombies, and there is a part that's in issue 2 that Alfred, because it happens to Batman. Batman gets infected, and Alfred literally has to put Batman down. Him and Superman. So it's a really good, from what I've read so far, it's a really good comic. For the most part, it's like freaking, it's crazy. I mean, it's one of those, like a DC tends to have all those comics that just kind of what we were talking about, in a sense, kind of like a what if. It's not really like canon stuff that's going on, anything like that, but it's what's going on in it. It's really good. So
I might have to check that out.
All right, man. Do we got anything else before we close it down for the night? I want to say that's probably pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Cause pretty much all my anime except for Fairy Tail is in the filler stages, right? Yeah, in filler mode right now. And Fairy Tail, if you watching Fairy Tail, you discovering some truths you no. So I could tell the series almost up because this is supposed to be the last season for Fairy Tail. So I'm gonna do a season by season rundown after this is up.
Okay. All right. Cool, man. Okay. So we're gonna bring this issue to a close, man. See you guys next week for issue 110 of Nerdflow Podcast. Please make sure you subscribe on all the different platforms that we're on. When you listen to this episode, whatever platform you listen to is on, please give us a 5-star rating or comment at the bottom. Let us know what you think about the show. And man, we are out of here. We'll see you guys next week for issue 110 of Nerdflow.
All right, one.
All right.